I truly have a tradition that anytime I'm in an event like this, in our office, for example, every Monday we share a positive focus, something positive that's happened personally and professionally in the last week, and we do it every Monday. It's just a constant, and what it's done is it's brought our team together. It's made us stronger in that regard because we get to know each other, and it becomes very valuable. Plus, it opens up the doors for creativity. Because just like, was it Justin?
Yes.
Just like Justin was saying that you can't have a positive thought and a negative thought that come in there. They can't. Can light and darkness occupy the same space at the same time? Can't do it. Can't do it. Neither can negativity and creativity. And I learned a long time ago that when I have a meeting, if I have a meeting with a client or a relationship, if I can get them to share something positive that's happened in their life, then all of a sudden, you know what, it opens up the channels of communication, the channels of creativity. In addition to that, better yet, if I develop as a tradition so they know that every time I'm going to be doing that, then what happens is that they're thinking on the way there, uh-oh, Lee's going to ask me to share something positive. And on the way, they start conditioning their minds so that they're receptive and creative in the actual meeting. It's kind of a sneaky, unfair way to do things, but it really works. So in this process, so here I am, and so there's been a couple times in my life where I've said, maybe I won't do a positive focus. I'm not real secure about this group. One of them was I spoke in New York City in front of 10,000 people with Donald Trump. Now, so I knew all the people who weren't there to see me. You know, I'm what do you call those guys that come, the warm-up guy? So I'm there, the warm-up guy, and so I'm sitting there thinking, how do you get 10,000 people to do this? So I told Lori, I said, Lori, I don't think I'm going to do it. She says, don't you dare leave that out. So I said, okay. So I get up there, and the room's just buzzing like this, and everything's going in 16 different directions, you know, and people have noise cloud like that. So I start talking. They're not there to hear me. I said, raise your hand if you've had a positive experience in the last 30 days. And so you see a wave of hands. It was kind of like, what did he say? So, oh, yeah. What did he say? Oh, yeah. So the hands just start popping up all over the place like this. And so then I said, all right, will you be willing to write it down? You have to really think about it. Like, you can't go further unless everybody really thinks about it. So they thought about it. I wrote it down. I said, would you be willing to stand up? To stand up. And I said, all right, I want you to look at your partner, and I want you to share it with them. In fact, what I want you to do is take your left hand and touch them on the left arm, on their right arm, when you're the one that's listening. Not the one that's talking, but you're the one that's listening. Because that engages the right side of your brain and makes you a better listener. And when that person's done, then let them take their left hand and put it on your arm and let them explain to you what's going on. So all of a sudden, this whole place just went dead silent for a second. Then all of a sudden, people matched up in a way. This energy just starts flowing like this. And then I had to yell, switch, and then they switched, and they were like, and when I was done, everybody just sat down, and they were quiet, and the energy was just unbelievable. And I thought, wow. This is remarkable because all of a sudden all these channels, 10,000 people, the channels that opened up. Well, another time happened. Lori and I were going to speak for a group of kids, 140 kids that were coming out of the projects. And we're worried about, how do you do this? Now, how do we do a positive focus with these kids that just got up in the morning, probably didn't have anybody cook a meal for them, haven't sat down at a table as a family ever. And to come in, they probably never said grace. And to come in and sit down and say, what's your positive experience? I said, Lori, I think I'm going to skip that one. Don't you dare. So we went into it, and you know what happened? Wow, that's all I can say is wow. And maybe during the course of the day, I might share another little slice of an experience that happened in there because it was just overwhelming. But how these kids grabbed hold of that, and they treasured that positive experience and the things that they spared in the room, the kids that were just sitting back like this, you know, set up, and all of a sudden listening got engaged because their minds started going in it. The same thing happened. I had to speak out at the Northridge High School for opening day. I was saying, I said, Lori, there's no way I'm going to do this. There's 2,500 kids in there. They're just their first day back in school. They're not going to be thankful for anything. You know, don't you dare. Okay. So we did it, and it worked out marvelously. Well, here's the same thing. I'm going into the prison. I'm saying, Lori, I don't know how I'm going to do this. You know, I mean, what happens if they just all sit there with this dumb look on their face? She says, don't you dare. So we did it. You know, we said, share a positive experience. And boy, how many, so raise your hand if you've had a positive experience in the last 30 days. And this whole side just puts their hands right up, just like this. And the parents are kind of looking over, going, and they put their hands up. And then in the back, though, here's the SWAT team. Okay. So I'm like, guys, everybody in the room plays. Raise your hand if you've had a positive experience in the last 30 days. So they're like this. So we take them through the experience, and then we got them to share, you know, the kind of way. But immediately the room changed. And there's something just ultimately powerful about the environment that we live in. And for me, that's my most recent positive focus. My degree, it wasn't really a degree, but it's a sweatshirt that says women's prison on it. So, I mean, with a hoodie. So I'm set, okay? So we've progressed along.